Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been 2 days since the last report of Itzulia, so today we'll have to cover 2 stages. So let's get right into it. On stage 4, the breakaway of the day included Carlos Verona, Stephen Williams, Maxime Monfort, Scabu Grimay, Alessandro De Marchi, Michael Stora, and Mikel Itzulia. So these 7 riders had a gap, but Bauer Hansgrohe, in defense of Maximilian Schachmann's leader's jersey, never let that grow over 3 minutes. So they were kept at on a short leash. And to make matters worse, it started to rain again, and that meant a lot of crashes again. It's like we had the other day, the crash where Alaphilippe was forced to abandon after the race. And this time it was not better. We had abandons of Kwiatkowski, Nicolas Roach, Ricardo Villela, Dan Oliver, Jon Aberasturi. They all had to abandon the race after crashes during the stage. So lots of riders were victims to wet roads on the rain. So yeah, like I said, the breakaway never got over 3 minutes, and the last of them were caught within the last 13 kilometers of the stage. And then it was actually Mitchell and Scott who pushed the tempo up to the climb, because, like we said earlier, when Adam Yates punctured, that he had to make time up and had to attack. But it seems like he did not have the legs, because if he felt really good, he would have attacked on the bottom, but he let his team do the work and he himself tried to go over the top. Also, because of the rain, there was another crash. He did not abandon, but also crashed was Lutsenko during that time span when the breakaway was caught. But yeah, Adam Yates finally made his move towards the top of the mountain, and he was joined by Maximilian Schachmann, Tadej Pogačar, and Jakob Fuglsang. So these 4 riders attacked over the Zaratoma, which was the final climb of yesterday's stage, and they got a gap of around 20 seconds over the other favorites. And in the sprint, it was won by Maximilian Schachmann once again, who took his 3rd stage victory. So really impressive stuff by him, even though a lot of other pre-race favorites are no longer in the race. Like I said before, you still have to stay on your bike. That's also part of your job when you're a cyclist, and Schachmann did that, and out of the remaining riders, he proved to be one of the strongest. Pogačar started to sprint early, so Schachmann basically used him just as a lead out, and Yates and Fuglsang, they were just no match, because they are climbers, they are no sprinters. They even lost a second in the sprint. Yeah, like I said, the other favorites came in 19 seconds behind Schachmann, so he made a little bit of more time up, which proved vital for today's stage, which we will cover now. So today was the Queen stage up to Arate, and what a stage it was. Like, there was no break of the day, because whenever a rider attacked, or a few riders attacked, they were reeled in back by numerous teams. No one seemed to get away, get a gap. So the closest thing we had to a gap was actually when, after 3 of the 7 categorized climbs, there were Ruben Fernandez, Michael Cherel, Alessandro De Marchi again, and Rudy Mollard. Those 4 attacked, but after the descent, after like 5 kilometers or so, they were reeled back in by Quickstep, who were trying to set up Enric Mas, who then also attacked on that 4th climb of the day. But to no avail, he was brought back by Astana. And after Astana caught Enric Mas, they sent up Luis Leon Sanchez up the road, who was joined by Gregor Mühlberger. So that was an interesting move, because the 2 probably best teams in the race. Both had a rider up front. And they got a gap of about 40 seconds to a minute, somewhere between that. But after Gregor Mühlberger was distanced and Luis Leon Sanchez was alone in the lead, he got called back to push the tempo because Schachmann was struggling on the climbs. He always, when it started to go upwards the road, when Schachmann lost the wheel of the group of favorites, was distanced not by much, but always a little bit. And I was thinking at that moment, maybe they should start to focus on Buchmann. But yeah, Sanchez had to go back so he could push tempo in the group to distance Schachmann further. But then we had another attack, which Sanchez attacked again because he had to follow Buchmann, who then actually attacked. Like I thought, like 2 or 3 minutes before he attacked, I thought, he should go. Then he did. And he was joined by Luis Leon Sanchez and Henao and also Maduas. So they got a gap. And then, funny enough, Astana told Luis Leon Sanchez again to drop back. So he was like a yo-yo. He attacked, had to drop back, attacked, had to drop back. And after that, even Sanchez was shaking his head in disbelief, like, what are you guys doing with me? Can't I just ride my race? Decide what you want me to do. Should I work at the front of the group or should I attack and stay with the breakaway? But I think this time it was actually the correct decision because Buchmann was a danger in the general classification. He started the stage in 6th position. And when he got away, Astana had to chase. But they only invested Gorka Izagirre and Luis Leon Sanchez. They could not really get the gap down to those 3 riders. So that were left in front, like I said, Madua, Sergio Luis Henao, and Emanuel Buchmann in the lead by then. And with 22 kilometers to go, it was actually Buchmann who left his 2 breakaway companions behind in search for glory of the stage victory and also the overall. I said in my preview video for this race that I think Buchmann should be their captain for this race. Depending how Schachmann does, he could take a stage. Well, he took 3. But Buchmann was really strong. By the time we started the climb of Arate with 7 kilometers to go, he had a lead of 2 minutes and was the virtual leader of the general classification because Astana did not have the manpower left to reel him in. And on the climb, he was just as strong as them. He did not lose much time on the climb to Arate. So we had a few attacks, obviously, of the favorites who tried to make up ground. It was actually Vogelsang who attacked first, but Landa countered with Yanni Laguerre and Dani Martinez in his wheel. That move was quickly neutralized. So then Vogelsang again went. This time with him were again his teammate Yanni Laguerre and Adam Yates could follow this time, and that group could establish a lead. They distanced Landa, who was shortly with them. But yeah, behind, Schachmann was trying to limit his losses. He actually, over the top of the Arate, caught the group of favorites, or a lot of favorites. But yeah, the stage was won by Buchmann, who still had a lead of 1 minute and 8 seconds in front of Yanni Laguerre, Adam Yates, and Jakob Vogelsang. Those were the chasers. Then we had a small gap to Dan Martin and Tadej Pogačar, the 2 teammates. Then another gap to Mikel Landa. And then came the group which included Schachmann, but it also had Enric Mas in it, Dani Martinez, Conrad was in that, and surprise youngster Lucas Hamilton was also in that group. So yeah, that means that now Emanuel Buchmann is the new leader of the general classification going into the last stage tomorrow. He has 54 seconds in front of Yonis Aguirre of Astana. Then the teammate of Buchmann, Max Schachmann, still third place at just a little bit over a minute, 1 minute and 4 seconds. He is in third place. Dan Martin moved up to fourth place. Then we have Jakob Fuglsang, Conrad, Yates, Martinez, Landa and Pogacar round out the top 10 currently in the general classification. This race was interesting, but not because the reasons I thought it would be. It was made interesting because a lot of pre-race favorites crashed out, so we got to see what other riders are capable of, because everyone said that Alaphilippe would sweep basically all the stages except of Arata, but he crashed out. Kwiatkowski would be a close second in most people's mind. He crashed out, and that made Schachmann get 3 victories. So Bora, the team of the hour, Astana, on a very, very rare occasion this season, not strong enough to beat Bora Hansgrohe. Usually this season, Astana and De Koning are the teams to beat, but at Itzulia in 2019, Bora Hansgrohe proved to be too strong. They have, like I said a minute ago, 3 guys in the top 6 going into the last stage. Astana has 2 guys in the top 5. These 2 teams dueling it out at the moment. When the year began, you thought, okay, Bora, they have a few good sprinters with Sagan, with Bennett, and with Ackermann. They're really good in sprints. They are good on the cobbles, obviously. Peter Sagan, one of the top favorites for every race he enters, which includes cobblestones, with his great helper of Oz, always at his side, and also Burkhardt. So you thought those were the 2 real strong points of the team. But now they have Conrad and also Schachmann, who are really good on those hilly terrain stages. And Buchmann proved once again that he's a great climber, that he can hold his own against stiff competition. So Bora, basically, they are good at everything right now. They have 1 or 2 riders who excel at every stage of racing in the Pro Tour calendar. So they are a dangerous team for numerous races, which at the start of the year, especially when it came to hills and mountains, I thought they were not bad, but I certainly did not think they would be as good as they are right now. So kudos to them for achieving what they did with the riders they had. Today they played the numbers game, a game that usually the other teams play, because they had Buchmann at 6th in the general classification and said, you know what, just attack, see what goes. And if the other teams work themselves too much into the ground, then maybe Schachmann can defend his jersey if you get reeled in. But he wasn't reeled in, so now he is the overall leader, which we thought at the beginning he would be. And Schachmann still did a really good race. Like, if you look at the results, not a lot of people thought he could actually finish this Queen stage with names like Enric Mas, with Dani Martinez, who was already second at Paris-Nice. Guys like that were in his group at the finish line. So it's maybe the power of the yellow jersey that made him go deeper than some other riders could have or would have. But maybe he's also just that strong. He's a really versatile rider. He showed he's not slow in a sprint against Pogacar or the other stage before that where he won a sprint. Maybe not as fast as Alaphilippe, who could beat actual sprinters at Sanremo after 300 kilometers, but still good enough to win out of a reduced group. I said the other day that I don't think Schachmann is fast enough yet in a heads-up sprint against the likes of Valverde, Alaphilippe, or even Kwiatkowski, who is not slow either. He has beaten Peter Sagan in Sanremo, he has beaten Sagan in E3. So yeah, a lot of people underestimate also Kwiatkowski's speed to the line. But yeah, Schachmann proved me wrong. He is better than I thought. Could be close. And yeah, he is in the form of his life at the moment. But it also has to be said that he has just more opportunities than before. Like when you look at the roster of the Koenig Quickstep, for the races that Schachmann excels at, they have Enric Mas, they have Stieber, they have Alaphilippe. They had last year Dan Martin when they were riding together. Like all these guys they have in the team for them, or when he was riding in their team, the riders they had just had bigger Palmares, so they were obviously the protected riders and Schachmann had to work for them. So that does not mean that this year for Bora he is stronger himself, maybe, but he also has more opportunities to ride for himself because he is only one of 2 or 3 guys at Bora Hansgrohe who can do well in those sort of situations. While at Quickstep they had like 5 to maybe even 10 guys who were as good as him, if not better than him, in exactly the same situations. If you look at the stages that he won, they would have suited Alaphilippe, they would have suited Gilbert, they would have suited a guy like Stieber who can actually sprint after a hilly stage or hilly classic. All those riders are not worse than Schachmann on their given day. Not to take anything away from the young German rider, he's a really talented prospect, and I think he can do well in the Ardennes this year. He can, in the form he is right now, definitely finish on the podium and maybe even win one of them. We'll have to wait and see. But this weekend there's also another race, which is Paris-Roubaix, one of my favorite races of the year. Probably I will do a preview of that tomorrow. I will have to work night shift tonight, and when I come back in the early morning I will probably upload a video covering that, and then look forward to the last stage of Itzulia. So maybe we'll have 2 videos tomorrow, one in the morning, one in the evening. Until then, I'm out.